Hello everyone. So welcome to the Legacy IAS YouTube channel. So today we are exploring a vision that has the potential to redefine India's future. That is Viksit Bharat 2047. Imagine this, by the time India celebrates 100 years of independence, we are not just a developing nation but a global leader, a country with a strong economic foundations, world-class infrastructure and sustainable growth. Sounds incredible, right? But how do we get there? So let's break it down and see what it takes to achieve this ambitious goal. So one by one we are going to discuss about each and every topic, and this particular session that we are going taking today, it is based on one of the interview that is given by Raghuram Rajan, the ex RBI governor. So on that content, okay, I have made this session, so I'm going to discuss each and every topic in that particular session. So first important, if we check it here, that is Viksit Bharat 2047. So in this Viksit Bharat 2047, developed India by 2047. So that is one important motto of this Viksit Bharat is. So this Viksit Bharat program जो है, it is nothing but कि our main motto is developed India by 2047. That means we got independence like 1947. After 100 years we will become developed nation. That is the vision of transforming India into a fully developed nations by 100 years of independence. But when we move forward, for example, so the thing is this, here we are going to discuss very important topics here. For example, this budget, for example, earlier in the budget also government was having some for example focus area, that this budget will focus on four pillars of Viksit Bharat. What is the four pillars? Youth, poor, women and farmers. These were the four pillars that budget that was passed in 1st February 2024. Youth, poor, women and farmers, and empower them. That was the main focus of the Viksit Bharat four pillars. But whether we are going to achieve all these or not, we are going to discuss that part also. So this was basically it based on one interview that is given by Raghuram Rajan. If it is business as usual, Viksit Bharat by 2047 will not happen. That is Raghuram. That means जिस हिसाब से the India is running, जिस हिसाब से Indian economy is performing, if it continue in the same manner, then chances are that we will not going to have Viksit Bharat as we dreamed basically. So what the reasons about it, we are going to discuss each and every topic. So first important problem that India is having regarding inflations. So regarding inflations, if we check it, India targets headline inflation, that is CPI, which includes food and fuel prices as they are significant for Indian household. Clear? And here it is ignoring food inflation. See, if you check it here, ignoring food inflations would disregard the pain caused to the majority, and even if overall inflations drop, India, the high food price hurt affordability, especially for the poor. That means even though we are going to control the inflations, even though government is giving the inflation numbers like example 4 plus minus 6%, but it is the food inflation basically that is going to hurt the affordability, especially the poor peoples. The challenge lies in the balancing inflation's control with economic growth and job creations. As we know that there is always a challenge with RBI, which they need to focus whether inflation or the growth. Because if very high inflation is there, then RBI used to increase the repo rate. If they increase the repo rate, that is banking rates, then what will happen is growth will going to get impacted. So this is the one important challenge, that means inflation. So inflation is basically just like that is silent player in the economy that affects us all, and it affects most basically the poor people only. So have you ever noticed that how your monthly expense go up even when the government says inflation is under control? And that's because in India food inflations play a very massive role. Food and fuel account for a big chunk of household spending, correct? Ignoring food inflation is like ignoring the elephant in the room. So it is going to impact the millions of people, especially the poor. So now managing inflation is not just about the keeping price stable, it is about the balancing this with economic growth and creating jobs. So government faces a tough question. How can we keep inflation in check while ensuring that people have money in their pockets and business continue to thrive? That is the main challenge government is having. And next problem, if we check it, so if you go with the next problem, that is about rupee versus inflations. So we basically have lot of obsessing over the rupees value is not more productive. That is what RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan is saying. We should not obsess lot of on the rupee value, because we have seen like rupees regarding this. So if you check here is rupee का main issue क्या है, like we have seen कि rupee versus dollar कि एक डॉलर में अभी 85 rupees हो गया है. That is what earlier it was 84, earlier it was, before that 10 years it was 60 rupees. So main obsession we are having with the rupees value. So Raghuram Rajan is suggesting that instead of focus on controlling inflations, as a stable inflation rate will naturally stabilize the rupees. That is main contention. So what Raghuram Rajan is saying that now let's talk about something, that is this rupees value. So it is common, basically we have seen the debate, okay, about whether rupee is weak or strong. But here is a thought, should we really obsess about over it? The real focus should be on controlling inflation. That is what Raghuram Rajan was saying. Why? Because a stable inflation rate ensures that rupees value stabilize naturally over time. Think of it this way, if your income stays the same but your expense does not rise drastically, does it matter what rupees exchange rate is? It's all about maintaining the purchasing power. Clear? So that is what Raghuram Rajan was saying about this. We should focus more on the controlling inflations. We should not focus more on arresting the rupee in context of the dollar. Now, if we move next issue is jobs versus growth. So before COVID, basically growth had already dropped below 4%. Before COVID, because of this COVID, post-pandemic recovery has been slow and manufacturing job are declining. Manufacturing job, they are declining. And people are returning to agriculture, which is worrisome since developed economies, they usually shift workers to service and manufacturing sectors. But in India, what is happening? People are moving back basically to the agriculture sectors. But whenever any country is going to develop, the people are coming out of the agriculture sector and they are joining the service sector and manufacturing sector. But here in India, it is happening opposite. And construction jobs, they are increasing due to infrastructure spending. We have seen government is spending a lot of infrastructure. And India is in a demographic sweet spot with a young workforce. However, this advantage will only yield results if high quality jobs are created. That means it should not be jobless growth. Is in this particular growth, jobs should be created, correct? So that means what? Did you know that even before pandemic, India's growth rate had already dropped like below 4%, and post-pandemic recovery has not been easy. So what alarming is that many people are moving back to the agriculture. So now agriculture is important, but it's usually a sign of economic distress when people leave manufacturing and service for agriculture. But on the brighter side, I told you jobs in the constructions, they are increasing thanks to the government infrastructure push. But here is a big question, are these enough? So India is in its demographic sweet spot at that sweet spot that I told you, with a young and energetic workforce. But if we do not create enough high quality jobs now, then this advantage will slip away. So the focus should be on the creating jobs, and not just in the quantity but also in the quality jobs. Jobs that are stable, well paying and skill oriented. Now next question or next topic just where Raghuram Rajan was speaking, basically it was about population and the migration, correct? So fertility rate in some states, especially we have seen in South Indian states like example Tamil Nadu, Kerala or Karnataka, they have dropped below replacement level. We have already created one video, you can watch the YouTube channel, वहाँ पे मिल जाएगा total fertility rate. So instead of pushing for more births, India should encourage internal migrations from low income regions to the prosperous ones. This can balance population and growth needs. That means population and migrations. So some states in India now have fertility rates, they are below the replacement level. So what does this mean? Simply put, in those states, population is shrinking over time. So while some leaders, they call for more births to boost the economy, here is a better solution: internal migrations. Imagine if people from underdeveloped regions could seamlessly move to the state with better opportunity. This would balance population growth and ensure that regions with economic prosperity, they get the manpower they need. Now next important topic, it's about basically about this frequent changes, okay, regarding the GST rates. Here Raghuram Rajan is saying that this should not be like this, in some items you are cutting the GST, rate and other items you are increasing the GST, then what will happen? It is going to increase the lobbying. क्योंकि lobbying में क्या होगा, they are going to request कि in my area, in my field, in my products you have to decrease the, or you have to cut the GST rates, but in other areas you have to increase the GST rates. So what will lead? So frequent changes in GST rates, they hurt the planning and create lobbying issue that I told you. Like recently there was a controversy over the GST, like when you sell the old car, earlier GST used to be there. This is not the first time they are applying GST, but now GST is 18%, earlier it was 12%. Same regarding the popcorn also, it is a salted popcorn, different GST bracket. If it is a caramel okay popcorn, there is different GST. So अगर इतना सब आप करोगे, frequent changes in the GST rate, it is going to create lobbying issue. And it is always good if you are having a predictable tax regime is essential for long term growth. क्यों? Abhi for example, if I am going to start one business, I do not know, actually I am not 100% sure what can be the future of the tax rates in my area. It may be possible tomorrow they can increase the tax rate, they are going to destroy entire industry just okay at one stroke. They are going to just increase the GST on that particular item. So a predictable tax regime is always better for the longer growth. Clear? Frequent GST cut or GST manipulation should not be there. This was one item that Raghuram Rajan was saying. Another important thing is this path to grow. So what is this path to grow here is कि traditional low skilled जो manufacturing exports like China's model, they are no longer viable to India. What? Okay, he is saying, so he is basically referring that कि whatever the China's old, that is low skilled manufacturing export that China used to do, this is not viable now. Reason is this, because of AI use, automation इतना ज़्यादा हो गया है, and it reduces the job creations. Another is now every country is they are following protectionism. Protectionism का मतलब होता है, for example, they are putting lot of tariffs. Whenever you export any product to other countries, they are importing countries, होता है import country, they are putting tariff. So they are protecting their market. So protectionisms from other countries. Another important reason is competitions from nations like Vietnam and China. We are having lot of competitions from that only, and that is the reason India's strength basically lie in high skilled services. Okay, exports like example IT, and government should scale up this sector, that is IT sector government need to scale. So here it is what? Ki the old formula of low skilled manufacturing export that worked wonders for countries like China, but for us the route is no longer viable. Reason is this, because automation is reducing job opportunities. Global protectionism is making export harder, and competitions from countries like Vietnam, China is tough. So where does India's strength lie? It is only in high skill services. So think about sectors like IT, software and healthcare services. India has a competitive edge here. The challenge is to scale these sectors further and train more people to meet global demands. And this is where government policies and investment will play a crucial role. Clear? Now next items that have been discussed here by Raghuram Rajan. It is what measures government need to take basically. So economic disparities, main measures क्या होना चाहिए? Economic disparities, for example here, कि if you take here, bridging the urban, rural and rich poor divide, then infrastructure bottlenecks and the environmental concern and policy implementations. These things that government need to take into consideration. That what says first is economic disparity. So here is, so of course for example if we challenge की बात करते हैं, no vision comes without challenges. Let's take a moment to look at this. For example, hurdles that on the path to Viksit Bharat 2047. And first problem that we are facing is economic disparities. What is this economic disparities here is the gap between urban and rural areas as well as between the rich and poor, that needs to be bridged. That is first concern. And second concern is infrastructure bottlenecks. For example, many rural areas they still lack basic infrastructures which hampers the growth. And third is environmental concern, correct? So climate change, deforestations, pollutions, they are very pressing issues that government need to tackle. And another important is policy implementation. So here it is, even the best policies fail if they are not implemented basically effectively and on the time. Addressing these challenges will require collective actions from the government, private sectors and even us as a citizen also. Clear? So that is the one thing. Now next if we move for example, So that we have discussed here. So what needs to be done? So here is a roadmap basically. What is the roadmap we are having? So that is idea for the vision Viksit Bharat 2047. So what is the measures need to be taken here is, so Viksit Bharat 2047 is a goal and roadmap for India's future. It requires collective efforts from the government, from the private sectors also, and the citizens also to achieve this vision. So it is just like a governance model, correct? On governance क्या होता है? Governance means government is also working together, private sector and citizens, private citizens all are working together, and is including NGOs, civil society organizations. Then only we can achieve this vision. So policies where they must focus on inclusivity, innovations, and sustainability to ensure India become a global leader. That is what actually told by the Rajan. So the thing is this here is, so what needs to be done here is focus on building inclusive policies to reduce inequalities, prioritize investment in infrastructure, especially in rural and semi-urban areas, embrace sustainability to tackle environmental issues, ensure a greener future. So finally we need to scale up the sectors like IT, which can boost exports, create high quality jobs. So the key is to stay innovative and adapt to global trends while leveraging India's unique strength. So to sum it up, basically, Viksit Bharat 2047 is a bold vision, but it is achievable if we all work together. It is not just about the GDP numbers or economic growth. It is about creating society where every Indian has equal opportunity to thrive. The journey would not be easy, but with commitment, innovations, and sustainability as our guiding principles, we can truly make India a global leader by 2047. So let's make it happen together. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content from the Legacy IAS. Thank you.